a hell of a day. When you wake up in the morning and you run out of coffee and you think, oh, is this as bad as it's going to get? No, this isn't as bad as it's going to get. So some of you may recognise this car park from last week's venture. Yes, I'm back in the same campsite I parked in last week, but this time I'm heading up the other side of the valley. I'm hoping to take in Red Screes. What else have we got up there? Fairfield, which is hopefully I'm going to camp. We've got Hart Crag, Dove Crag. Just means I can tick off a few more of the highest peaks in the Lake District. So the plan is up and over there somewhere. Fairfield is where I'm hoping to camp, which is just over the hills there, which probably don't look as far away as it actually is, or as high. Somewhere in the distance, I think that is Dove Crag up there, so I need to go over the top of there, just a bit further in the distance. It says it's going to be about 3.5 hours, possibly, maybe longer. I'll see how I get on. I'm not going to put my foot down, but I'm not going to dawdle either. So it's pretty warm so far. I've not even come that far, probably just over a mile, but the climbing's been quite high, as you can see from the view. We're quite a way up, and that's probably where we're going back tomorrow, over those tops and back down Red Screes. But yeah, so we've done a bit of climbing so far. Nothing major, as I'm not that high, but it's all been fairly steep. Steady away a bit for a while, I think now, and then it'll shoot up as I go to Fairfield. So Fairfield is where I'm intending to camp tonight, but I'll see if it takes my fancy, because last week on the high street just didn't feel it, so I moved on. So this week Fairfield is a target. However, I might go down to Grisdale Tarn because it's midweek, so hopefully it shouldn't be too busy, because I know that's a very popular spot on a weekend, and I don't want to be camping with loads of other people. It kind of defeats the object. So head up to Fairfield, see how the land lies up there, and then if it's rubbish or if I don't fancy it, walk a bit further and go down to Grisdale Tarn. So if I'm honest with you, I woke up this morning and I just wasn't feeling it. Don't know why, a bit sluggish. I've not been sleeping very well recently, not that I ever do. I just wasn't feeling it. There's a little tiny part of me just thought, I can't be bothered, sack it off. Just laze about the house all day, enjoy your rest days. And I thought, no, why would you do that? And then when I get here, and within 2 minutes of being surrounded by the green countryside, I'm like, oh, thank chuff I did that. I'm so glad I did it. I mean, look at it. It's so beautiful. It's so green. Just it really does lift me up big time. I was going to come yesterday, but the forecast was 50 miles an hour winds, and my tent can take that, but I didn't really want to be walking around in it and putting my tent up it and getting wet. And I do this because I enjoy it, not because it's not because it's a must. Although, if I get caught out in that, that's fine. But to choose to go out in that when the weather was forecast to be better the next day, why would you do that? Everybody's like, oh, just go out, just do it. I'm like, maybe I will one day, but I'm gonna camp all through winter, so it's highly likely I will get caught in a shitstorm at some point. But so be it. But to choose when you've got a choice of a crap day or a good day to go out, and it is supposed to be summer, why not choose a good day? So I chose a good day. Looks like I made the right decision. What do you think? I think this is where it gets really steep. You probably can't tell from the footage, but it definitely needs well, 2 hands on it, this I reckon. Unless there's a little snicket through all those rocks, but I think I'm pretty much going up there. So yeah, this is my last known whereabouts if this film doesn't make it to publication. So I don't know if you can hear me, it's very, very windy up here. But we're at the top of Dove Crag, I believe. And if you can see, way in the distance there, just to the right of the trees, by my finger roughly, there's a little white building. That's where I parked the car. It's about 2.5 miles away. Well, 3 miles away according to my watch. I've come all the way up the valley, all the way up that crag, and up here. Now, the plan is to head over there and camp somewhere on the top there, or maybe that one over there in the far distance. But it is very, very windy, and the wind is very cold, so don't want to be hunkered away from as soon as I pitch my tent. It'd be nice to sit outside my tent and have a bit of a brew and something to eat. So I'll see what it's like top of Fairfield, see if I can get any shelter, and if I can't get any shelter, then maybe go down to Grisdale Tarn, which might be a bit more sheltered. So I got to the top of Fairfield, which is kind of where I am now. It's very rocky, so I'm struggling to find a pitch. So I thought I'd just have a sneak halfway down to Grisdale Tarn, see what it's like down there. But people are pitched already. They've clearly been there for ages. That's where you get the best pitch in it. So that's going to be a last resort. So I'm going to have a ponder around up here on the outskirts of the pyramid. Sorry, on the. So I'm going to have a ponder around here on the outskirts of the peak, see if I can find anywhere flat enough that's not too rocky. It's all like this, the ground's like very stony, and I haven't got a mallet to put my pegs in, so I need to have relatively soft ground to a degree. Tent's up, brew's on, nice cup of coffee. Had to use my windshield, it's a bit breezy up here but not too bad. But look at that view, straight out of my tent, right across the valley, and that is Windermere. So I've just boiled my water, tonight's delights, just sealed this up, fill it with water. Chicken tikka with rice, not had this one before, but it's very orange, so it's very authentic. I've got to leave that for, it says 8 to 10 minutes I think. Well, it actually says stir for 8 minutes. I'm not going to sit there and stir it for 8 minutes because it'll go cold. So I'm going to let it soak and give it a stir in a few minutes, and then hopefully it'll be alright. So yeah, it is currently, the time is 5 to 9 and the temperature's already dropped to 6 degrees. Now it said it wasn't going to get particularly cold overnight, but obviously you're on top of a mountain. Yeah, for Engez didn't check in earlier. I stopped at the top of Fairfield, which is 872 metres, which is 2,600 feet I think. So it's quite high up. It's something like the 16th highest peak in England. And from the top here you can see Helvellyn, Scafell Pike, you know, you name it, because we're pretty high up. We can see pretty much everywhere, and it's clouded in a little bit, so I'm probably not going to get any decent sunset pictures. Tried a little bit of time lapse earlier. When I've had my dinner I might go over and see if the sun is setting properly, but like I say, it's just clouding over. I don't know if you can probably see a little bit. It's just very grey. It's beautiful, I don't say. And up there it's very dramatic clouds, and it's still very pretty. But like I said, there's not much sign of the sun. Apart from the odd sneak through the clouds. I got a few decent pictures. Hopefully I will get a few more before the sun goes in completely. Sorry. Okay, so it's ready to eat. I have to say, it doesn't look I don't know if you can see this, but it kind of looks very mushy. You know when you overdo rice and it just goes to mush. But that said, there's plenty of pieces of chicken in it, so dare I eat this? Oh dear. Actually, that's not bad. Considering it looks disgusting, it tastes quite nice. Still, my favourite to date is still the macaroni cheese though, that I had last week. That was awesome. I'm going to order some more of these, but I was waiting to see how all of them tasted. So I've had pasta bolognese, macaroni cheese, and this one. Macaroni cheese is the best. The last one I've got is chicken fried rice, I think, which is probably going to be average. So it's looking like I'll probably just order a bulk load of macaroni cheese. However, I may get some puddings next time, because I do some rice pudding with strawberries, chocolate mousse, a few other bits and pieces. They're slightly cheaper, still too expensive, but it's a little treat in it, you know. As someone said to me the other day, there are no pockets in a shroud. That was my justification for buying this tent. So, anyway, you don't want to sit and watch me eat this, so I shall come back in a bit. I'm maybe gonna, if I can get this eaten in a reasonable pace, I'll go back over there, see if I can find the sun, see if we can get any sunset pictures. But it's very cloudy, it's coming in dark, so don't hold your breath. Right, so I'm back in the tent. It is, you can probably see my breath, it's getting a bit chilly. I've taken a lot of time-lapse photography. I think sun will come out. We're not the greatest sunset because it's been very cloudy, but there's some great colours coming through the clouds. Quite moody, atmospheric-y kind of shots. So I'll have to review those later and see if they come out. Took some on my phone, took some on the GoPro. So I'll obviously choose which ones come out best. Just had a hot chocolate, or just having a hot chocolate. In my nice collapsible cup. Yeah, so it's now about 10 to 10. In fact, no, it's probably a bit later than that. I haven't even checked my watch recently. Probably about 10, quarter past 10. And it is, got the steam, it's about 5 degrees. So I think it's going to be a cold one tonight. You're up on the summit, it's always going to be that little bit colder. Walking up, it was like 16 to 20 degrees. Lovely and warm. Got a right sweat on, but like I say, once you're exposed on the tops, it wouldn't surprise me if there's frost on the tent in the morning. But it did say the chill could get down to 1 degree. But I'm in the tent now, I'm warm, I'm having hot chocolate. Once I'm in my sleeping bag, when it's this cold, I don't feel a thing. I could be, you know, on a sun lounger in Spain, it's that warm and toasty. So bring it on, yeah, that's what I say. That's what these things are there for, testing. That's why I brought my tent out to the summit rather than finding somewhere sheltered. I'm pretty exposed here, I'm exposed as I'm going to be, so it flaps a bit, but I've got my earplugs, so I'm going to have my hot chocolate, listen to a bit of music, and then set my alarm for about 5:30, because I think that's what time the sun's due up, although it is forecast to be a bit cloudy tomorrow, so who knows, probably won't get much of a sunrise, but don't matter, because I'm still going to be waking up comfy and happy in a nice tent in the middle of nowhere. So I think I'll bid you all good night. Well, it's 5:05. I don't know if you can hear or not, but it's absolutely piddling it down, blowing a gale. So, and I've just been out to go for a pee.
There's going to be no sunrise pictures today. It's cloudy, I can't see a thing. So I've reset my alarm for about another hour and a half, and I'm going to see if I can hopefully wake up to less rain, because there's nothing worse than having to put your tent down and it's peeing it down. So I've had a great night's sleep again, nice and toasty. It's a bit windy, even with my earplugs in, but not too bad. But it's just like I say, if you can hear it or not, it's just bouncing down. Always sounds worse than a tent, but it is quite heavy. Good morning. So I had a bit more of a snooze, and I woke up again and it was horrible still. So I snoozed again because I was so cosy. And I kind of think, you know, I'm up on the top of this mountain and the weather's so horrible, no one's going to see me if I sleep in a little bit longer. So it's now about 7:20, a whopping great 7.7 degrees, still raining, still windy. So, you know, it's not looking like it's going to disappear weather-wise, so I'm going to just get my breakfast on. And with a bit of luck, by the time I've finished eating my breakfast, which this morning is bacon butties, thought I'd treat myself. By the time I've had my breakfast, with a bit of luck, at least the rain might have stopped. It's letting up a little bit. It's definitely not stopping. And the wind, I don't know if you can see how windy it is, but the wind is flapping the tent about, so it's not mega blowing a gale, but I'm going to get pretty damp walking down, so I'm in no hurry to get out of my tent. So that's my view this morning. So you can imagine why I'm in no hurry to get out and get walking in that. So bacon buddies it is.
Well, as the wind and rain stopped for a short while, or dropped, still raining a little bit, I thought I'd take the opportunity to get the camera out and say hello, because since packing the tent up I've not checked in, I don't think. On the tops, packing away, it was like 40 miles an hour, get my teeth in, 40 miles per hour winds and rain, and it was quite hard work putting the tent away. It wasn't too bad because I kept all corners pegged in until I got all the poles out, but the last bit of stuffing it in the bag when the bag just wanted to fill up with air like a balloon and blow away. It was hard work, but it didn't take me too long. But I'll have to get it out to dry it when I get home. Well, I think I better buy a lottery ticket, because this is my second time up at Red Screes. What's it called? Summit. Because I got here, went to grab my camera, my GoPro, to take some pictures, and it had unscrewed from my tripod that was on my belt, so I lost it, and I was like, shit. And all I could remember is the last time I used it was about 2.5 miles back, and I thought the likelihood of me finding this is none. So, but I thought I've got to try. I've only had it 2 minutes, nearly 300 quid. So I walked all the way back, slowly, retracing my steps, looking all around the ground. No joy, I got all the way back to where I'd last used it, not found it. So I thought, right, well, I could take the quick way down to the car, or I could have one last go and come all the way. Anyway, would you believe I walked all the way down to where I last used it, couldn't find it, walked all the way back up, and I've literally just found it, just by the trig point. Talk about bloody lucky. I nearly cried. I was so upset, and I walked about an extra 7 miles, but I don't give a shit now. I've got it, and I can sleep. camp last night. It was fantastic. I slept pretty well. I won't go on because this is quite a long one already. But yeah, slept well. Lovely views. Unfortunately, woke up this morning and it were peeing it down, blowing a right gale. So I stayed in the tent for a bit longer than expected. When I finally put the tent down, it was 40 miles an hour gusts of wind, and it was really hard work. But I just shoved it in the bag, and job done, you know. But it's been another successful one. As I say, every time I go on a wild camp, I learn something new. I've learned how to maybe look after my GoPro a little bit more. So, thank you for watching, if you're still watching at this point, and I'll see you on the next one.